Actually, I have a very good friend, and I love the country as the things that I heard of, and I wanted to be here one day. And now that I'm here, I really feel, yeah, I should have come much earlier. It's an abundance of space, quality of life, and very nice and easy people. The Canadian wines that I know are mostly ice wines, because here you can do that very easily. And ice wines are very, very high estimated. On the other side, we have an old tradition of winemaking, but with the climate change, there are so many things changing. So I travel a lot. I went to Israel and I went to all sorts of wine areas to see how we can deal with it. Well, I think we have to exchange experience all the time. And, our family has been in the business for more than 13 generations. So it's all about the same things that happen and the same values and, how you educate your kids and things like that. I mean, it's quite simple, but if you have a family that is in the business for so long, then you think about the future, how will I do it, will the next generation come, etc. And so, yeah, that's why we thought we could do something together. It's like everywhere. The person is the secret. During the First World War, for example, by that time was the catastrophe of the phylloxera, a little insect that would kill the vines. The whole industry was kind of killed. I mean, in my village, 90% of the vineyards were dead. And then came the First World War. My grandfather was there as a young man. When he returned, he said, "I'm a born winemaker. I grew up in a winery. Now everything is gone. I will start it again." And he still had the land, so he started it again. And I think that makes family businesses so different from other businesses. Because, another one would have said, "I don't know if it makes sense." But he said, "There's no alternative. That's who we are." The biggest challenge is that you have a lot of bosses, and you have to, in a family, it is very difficult to talk about hierarchy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the father is the boss. So if he's the king, then his wife is the queen. But maybe his wife doesn't know anything about the business, but still she is the queen. So those things are a challenge to really mix the emotional aspects with the professional aspects. I think you have to be burning for your industry. You have to be burning for your business. And when you burn, then you open your eyes and ears. And we don't have to innovate everything by ourselves. The whole world is doing things very well. If you go around and watch it and think about it, I mean, and sometimes, I don't know, I have the feeling things drop in front of me and I simply have to pick them up. So like the kosher thing, I simply picked it up, and that's what it was. There were a few moments of that in my biography where the family didn't want me to do it. The time was not right, but I never let it go. I always kept the contact. So, for example, I studied history because when I finished school, there was no place for me in the family business, so I did something else. And then I was married, fortunately, with a winemaker. I learned a lot of things, raised 3 children. Well, at the end of the marriage, unfortunately, but at the end of that, I came back home and I knew a lot about the business because that's what I had done the last 20 years. Yeah. So, yeah, in a way, I think in the businesses you have to be flexible. You have to take the chance and make decisions. Yeah, it is not only the brain, it's the how do you say, the stomach feel, or
gut. Trust your gut.
My gut, yeah. And then things work out all right, as long as you're burning for the thing. Yeah. for me, it is important because I love Israel. I'm Christian, so they are our older brothers. And I see, especially in Europe, in the moment, I see a new anti-Semitism coming up. As a lot of people do it by being anti-Zionists. So, you know, if you feel that's wrong, then you have to do something. Twin Winery is something that want to bring Germany and Israel together, and it's like a partnership of cities or so. You know, it's kind of a friendship, but also an exchange. I mean, I don't teach. I mean, I show them how we do our marketing and all these things. They show me how they do produce wine without water, you know, or with the drip irrigation that is needed over there, because we are running low in water, and so. We have a friendship, we visit each other, we do presentations together, we have the same idea about quality, and I think that's a wonderful thing for everybody. We produce kosher wines. I have some friends who have a business, they are Jews, and so I produce the wine for them. And it is a wonderful friendship. We do a lot of exchange, and actually it gave me a total new impression about rules, because, you know, in this old religious way, rules are the identity of that people. We think differently about rules. I mean, we Germans love rules. I think the Canadians are much easier about that. So yeah, if you compare these traditions, and so it's always, it widens your horizon, yeah. It is actually the same wine. It is the same thing that you do with it, but the difference is that the rabbi does it. The rabbi who gives the certificate, he has to guarantee that the rules have been followed. So he makes it. He actually does it, and he has his brother is an Orthodox Jew as well. So the Christians may not watch it. They may not be there. So they do it, but they do what our cellar master tells them to do. Well, you know, these wines are very unique because they are not mevushal. Mevushal is when you heat the wine. Like a lot of red wines that they use for religious reasons. So my white wine is not heated. It is a very crisp and light white wine. Nobody expects it. So when I show it to people, they are all very excited about it. Yeah, because it doesn't taste like marmalade, you know.
Okay.
But if you start things like that, you know, we started with our traditional bottle, which is called box bottle. It's a flask. And now I learned that it's stupid to do it like that, because the flask wouldn't fit into a box when you have somebody who makes mixed boxes, you know, a merchant who mixes kosher wines in a box. So next time I will do it in another bottle. So you step by step you learn what is the most important thing about it. Yeah, it's a total new market. I don't know anything about the kosher market. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, actually, maybe the secret is that our wine goes well with food, and they all love to eat. Well, the Pope thing was funny because my father was a representative of the winemakers of Franconia, and when the big mess happened, they dropped the chalice. So they didn't know what to do, and my father had just given them a basket with great wines. So one of the monks that were serving, he went there and opened. He always had a corkscrew in his pocket. I don't know how he did that. And he opened one of those bottles, put it into the chalice, and so it became the Pope's mass wine. And actually, this was a very, very special bottle. And the Pope recognized and asked for the rest of the bottle and drank it in the evening. And the American president, he was in the embassy, and at the dinner they had our wine. We have a lot of great addresses where they have our wine. In the moment it flies in the first class of the Lufthansa. So yeah, so we are lucky, and we are trying to do our best.